Okay, I think you know why we're here. Brisket. I'm going to share my oven-baked brisket recipe. I've created this recipe many years ago because we still lived in a house. It was before I had a smoker. It was before I even had my smoke inside. If you didn't know, I do have one. Well, we love brisket. Brisket is also pricey to buy by a pound that's already been smoked. So I decided to create an oven-baked brisket recipe. That way, anytime we wanted to, I can just make it at home. This thing has been so incredibly life-changing. Of course, until we got a smoker. I'm not going to pretend or even tell you that baked brisket is as good as smoked. That's a lie. That's an outrageous lie. If there's anybody else telling you that oven brisket is as good as smoked, they're lying through their teeth. It's good. It is really good. It's not smoked good, but it's good if you don't have a smoker. So it has been incredibly popular with my readers. A lot of people love it. My whole family loves it. It is definitely worth the few hours of wait time. I'm not even going to say effort because it doesn't take that much effort, and you'll see in a video. It's only a couple of things that you need for it, and most of it is just waiting for it to slowly cook in the oven. One thing that I want to note before we begin is that don't worry about the size of the brisket because it is all about how much time you have. So if you have a large brisket, know that you will need a little bit more hours in a day. If you have smaller one, you won't need as many. Most important tool that I would say is your internal thermometer. The one that is leave-in, the one that you can put into the meat and it connects on the outside to a receiver, because you want to track the temperature the entire time the brisket is cooking. It's going to be cooking covered up, and you don't want to be opening the oven back and forth. So I highly recommend leave-in thermometer to monitor the temperature of your meat. So now let's begin, huh? All right, you guys, first things first, we're gonna start making my dry rub. So you're gonna need a few ingredients, just a couple of minutes, because we're gonna shake it all up into a mason jar. So we're gonna start with dark brown sugar. Remember, the difference between dark brown sugar and light brown sugar is how much molasses they added. So it's going to be a little bit of a richer, more aromatic kind of a addition to your dry rub. Then you got paprika. I recommend smoked paprika because since we're making this brisket in the oven, this will help incorporate a tiny little bit of extra smokiness to the whole thing. If you don't have it though, not a problem. Just go with the regular paprika. Then we need some coarse salt, sea salt or kosher salt. Either one will work. Just want to use coarse salt, not table salt. It's a slightly different flavor, very different texture. We got fresh ground black pepper, garlic powder and onion powder, some cumin, cayenne pepper, and coriander. And that's it. We're going to combine it all together. And that's it. Once it's mixed, it is ready for brisket or any other meat you want to use it on, because you know that's why I call it the ultimate dry rub. You can use it on anything really. Now that the dry rub is ready, let's talk brisket. I actually have a pretty big one today. The store only had huge briskets today, so I got an 8-pound brisket flat. Now you can absolutely make it any size you want. Usually I make them between 4 and 6 pounds, and sometimes you just gotta roll with it. If the store has it, then that's all you got. Go with it. You can make a little bit extra dry rub. For an 8-pound brisket, I increased my dry rub slightly. You can always also double the recipe and just store the rest right in the same jar. Just make sure you pour the dry rub out. When you season in the brisket, pour it out into a separate cup because you don't want to be touching your dry rub or the jar with dirty hands. That's a big no-no. especially if you're working with raw meats. So we're going to open this up, we're going to pat it dry, and then we're going to season it. Wrap it up and pop it in the refrigerator overnight so it gets nice and juicy and tasty. All right, it's kind of hard for me to run back and forth between the sink with the camera, so I opened the package up off camera. I'm pretty sure you don't need any of visual help doing that. And then pop the brisket right back into the bacon sheet tray. Now the reason why I like to work with bacon sheet tray is because it's going to catch all of our extra seasoning. All right, quick reminder to wash your hands in between handling the brisket and handling anything else on your workstation. And one quick note I forgot to mention about the dry rub. If you have any kind of clumps in there, just simply break them up with a fork. Because we're using dark brown sugar, it is very easy for clumps to form because dark brown sugar has more moisture. So you want to just use a fork and kind of break them all up. All right, we're going to generously sprinkle our, oops, I see a clump. We're just going to set it aside. Sprinkle the brisket, and then we're going to pat the seasoning in. You don't want to rub because the seasoning actually separates when you rub it. So you want to pat it when you cut time you're seasoning your meats. Right, wash hands again. Now, if I know I'm going to be using all of the seasoning, then I'm okay to touch it because I'm going to wash the jar right away very well. But if you are not going to use all your seasoning, you can pour some out if you think you're going to forget to wash your hands. So put it out for yourself into a dish and use a spoon to scoop. And of course, wash all of your equipment right away. That's just a little food safety tips for you. Okay, I'm going to finish my jar. I can see it now. So I'm going to wash it right away. And we are going to take care of this brisket so it gets it nicely. All right, so now we're just going to cover it up, pop in the refrigerator, wash everything. All right, let's cover it up. So you want to make sure that it's nice and airtight because we're going to be keeping it in the refrigerator. Also, try to make sure to put it on a lower shelf in the refrigerator, not above any prepared foods, not above vegetables and fruit. Nothing that can be eaten raw or uncooked. So, about overnight, 12 hours. I wouldn't push it for more than 24 hours in the refrigerator. Let's go. All right, good morning. We got the brisket out of the refrigerator. Now it's time to get it cooking. Before we cook it though, we have to let it rest on the counter for about 30 or 40 minutes. We just want to make sure that it comes up in temperature a little bit so it's not ice cold when we're sticking it into the oven. So in the meantime, we're going to unwrap it and just let it sit on the counter. It's just a good time for you to gather your tools like your roasting pan and of course, internal thermometer. So I like to track all of my meats, whether I'm smoking, grilling, or cooking in the oven with a leave-in thermometer. So why this is good is because it tracks your temperature the whole time your meat is in the oven. You don't have to take it out of the oven, open the doors unnecessarily, let all the heat out, decrease the temperature of your meat while you're tracking its temperature. So if there is something that is good to invest, that is a leave-in thermometer, and they're really not that expensive, so you can get a starter thermometer. Don't need to spend a lot of money on it. It will help you track the temperature of your meat. So leave-in thermometer, Roasting pan, also a good time to preheat your oven. We'll talk about that in a second. And that is really all you're going to need in order to make this brisket. Well, of course, some foil to wrap it in. Okay, so to prepare a roasting pan, you're going to want to put a rack inside the roasting pan, and then we're gonna line it with some foil. You want to make sure that it's large enough that will loosely cover your brisket, and you want to get two large pieces on crisscross. All right, so my brisket will go right in here, and then we're gonna cover it like a pocket. All right, let's talk oven temperature. On a smoker, you usually want to cook your brisket nice and low and slow at around 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So in the oven, it's a little bit different. First of all, not all ovens go very low, depending on the brand, depending on the age. Some ovens don't go below 250. Some do, which is good. So the most important to remember is you don't want to put your oven over 300 degrees. So 300 is about as maximum as you want to get when you're slowly cooking something. If your oven goes around 275 or 250, you can absolutely set it on those lower settings. Now that will take a little bit longer to cook. So check with your schedule, see how much time you have in a day, and if you do want to go a little bit slower, go ahead and set your oven 275, 250, that's Fahrenheit again, or 300. All right, let's talk about tracking the temperature. So like I mentioned before, I'm going to use a leave-in thermometer probe. Okay, you want to go through the side, and you want to try to get as close to the center as possible, and you want to insert it at the center as well. So this is my thickest part over here. This is where it's going to be tracking, at the center of my thickest part. Okay. You want to make sure your probe fits with your meat into the roasting dish. I almost forgot to mention another reason why it's very important to track your temperature with the thermometer when you're cooking meat. Most people think that there is a set amount of time that a meat needs to cook, that it is one set time and that's it. Every piece of meat is going to be ready. That is completely not true. Every single piece of meat cooks at a different rate. There are so many variables that go into it. Thickness, size, amount of fat versus amount of meat in that piece of meat. Meat itself, is it chicken, is it pork, is it steak, is it beef? I mean, not steak. Anyway, temperature. Tracking temperature is your most trusted way to know when your meat is done. So take brisket, for example. Oven's ready. For example, my 8-pound brisket could cook the same amount of time as a 6-pound brisket if that 6-pound brisket is a lot thicker, because thickness is a bigger indicator of the time it will take for the meat to cook than the pounds. So a thin, long piece of brisket can cook the same amount of time as a shorter, thicker piece of brisket. So that's why it's very important to track your internal temperature. So let's bundle this brisket up and pop it in the oven. Now again, you want to create almost like a pocket. You don't want to make it nice and tight. You want to make it nice and loose. If you don't have quite enough foil, like I have very loose pocket here, it doesn't quite fold. So I'm going to put another loose piece of foil right on top. Let's go. All right, so you want to cook until about 180 to 185, and then we're going to pull it out of the oven, uncover it, and pop it back in for about an hour. Okay, back in the oven for about an hour. Okay, so for the temperature you're looking for in a brisket is about 190, 195 for slicing. That is a good temperature for where you want to slice it. Still holds together, but very tender and juicy. If you want to pull or shred your brisket, you want to make it to 200 to 203. That is the temperature where it just falls apart, which is perfect for shredding. So that decision you can make on your own. I'm going to pull it at 195. Okay, now we rest it and then slice it. So in order to rest it, you're going to want to move it to a large cutting board first. Tent it loosely and let it rest for about 30 minutes.